Welcome to the Cloud Pink podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about creativity. So I have been feeling so creative lately and so in the flow. I'm writing a memoir. Announcing that is crazy. I am working on a fashion line and I'm doing this and obviously working on my business and working on my business, Cloud Pink. And somehow the creative energy is just flowing so well. And I've been asking myself and diving into why is that? And I wanted to share some of the reasons of why it is. So number one is regulating your nervous system in order to create. So for me, I have to create the moment first and then create within the moment. So for me, that is incense, tea, soft surfaces, a clean room, and lo-fi. And when I have all of those things, it just does something to me. It romanticizes it in such a way that I can really sink in. So I don't give myself any guilt around how long it takes to do that. I do sometimes have these moments where I feel I do struggle with how long it takes me to get ready, but I don't listen to that voice and I don't allow it to derail me anymore. I used to have this pattern where actually I want to add number 2 first and then come back to that. Number 2 is a routine of self-care or ritual of self-care. So number 2 is for me, when I wake up, I meditate, journal, exercise, shower, get ready, and then do my creative stuff. And obviously, every single day is a stretch for anybody. I do this kind of every day, but so when I say every day, take it very lightly because first of all, I'm a cyclical being. Second of all, I don't really believe in strict everydays. It's when you can type of everyday. So that does take forever. I'm not gonna lie, it takes forever, but it's worth the time. And the more that I think about it as that's my day, and it flows into it, that's the beginning of the day, rather than a morning routine, the more I can really accept it and sink into it. Because when I thought of it as a morning routine, I would get really agitated, this is taking too long. But what I find is that yes, it takes a long time, but then the way that the day flows is so much more beautiful. And I'm just in my best self. I'm talking nicely to myself. I'm in good vibes. I feel good rather than trying to meet the day with this energy of I have to get stuff done, and that brings me to number 3 is let it flow. Some days it's not going to happen. And I would rather not associate my projects with that frustrated feeling. So I just step away if I feel that way or go to a different thing. I have a lot of different projects going that have kind of something to do with each other, but kind of nothing to do with each other. And that helps, or just go relax and watch TV, which brings me to number 4. You cannot guilt trip yourself into creativity. At least I can't. And I don't think a lot of people can. And you can't discipline yourself into it because those are completely different energies. Discipline, a lot of people will disagree with me on this. But for me and the way that I operate, discipline is not creative. Discipline is structured. And I don't need discipline to be consistent because consistency comes from wanting to do it. Consistency comes from joy. For me, that has been this big process that I've been working on in the last year and a half, especially, is really transitioning out of discipline as a motivator and anything to do with should as a motivator, and really into joy, creating for joy. Which brings me to number 5, which is to follow your impulses. So I continuously kept having the desire to read a book from every country, sort of just like beating the back of my head. Like, just, it kind of just kept coming up in my brain. And I'm like, oh, like that's like such a big project. Like, why would I do that? And then it more worked on me. And then when I finally started the project, now I'm 7 books in, and I can feel the way that this project is changing me. And what I now believe is that the dreams and goals that I had been visualizing, hoping for, praying for, working towards, that my subconscious, the universe, kind of however you want to think of those, actually sent me the projects and the ideas that I would need in order to transform to be the person that could meet those dreams fully. And for some reason, reading a book from every country is part of becoming the person that does these other things. The memoir too, I've always felt like I was gonna write a book, and I always felt like I was gonna write a memoir, but I always thought it would be when I was older, like in my 40s or 50s. But then it just started kind of like pecking at my brain, like, write it. So one day I was just like, fuck it, like, just follow the impulse. And I just started writing, and suddenly, like a couple days later, I'm spending like my entire day at a cafe just writing this memoir. And the next day writing all day, like, and I'm just losing time, like, in a good way, because I'm so in the flow state that it's just like I look up and I'm like 2 hours past, like, what? And it feels amazing. And I feel that I'm like 50 pages into the first draft, but I feel that it's changing me. And I feel that the way that it's changing me, I'm becoming someone who is more aligned with the dreams that I've already been pouring my energy into. So I don't believe anymore the advice that you should just focus on one thing. I used to believe that advice. Actually, I believe that when you're working towards something, sometimes these seemingly side quests, seemingly unrelated pursuits are going to actually give you the tools or the transformation or the growth or the connections that you need for that one. So if you're having an impulse to create something, follow it. Maybe you don't understand how it relates back to your life trajectory, or maybe you don't understand how it's going to make you money, or if you're able to do it, or maybe you're scared of it, or you can't figure out how to fit it into your life. Follow the impulse. Follow the impulse. And, you know, not out of scarcity, but sometimes they'll go away if you don't follow them, and, you know, or they'll lose their energy. So follow them while they're fresh. This brings me to number 6. So another one that seems less fun at first is boundaries. I know it's such a buzzword, and it's fraught. The whole conversation around boundaries is fraught. But what I mean when I say that is, this is a lesson that has clicked for me only in the last like 3 months. At a certain point, I had fixed so much of like my internal dialogue, my nervous system. I had clarified my goals. I had fixed so many things that were like stopping me from meeting my goals, my creativity. But yet, week after week, I was saying yes to everything. and the time was going away. And I would find myself like at the end of my week, like frustrated that I didn't actually show up to myself in that way. Like I didn't show up to my business the way that I wanted to. I didn't show up to my projects in the way that I wanted to because I was just always saying yes to something. And don't get me wrong, like the things I'm saying yes to are absolute priorities for me as well. Like I don't want anybody to take this advice too far ever, because sometimes it's way more important to spend time with your friends and your family than to make something. You know, we don't need to be making things all the time. But I do have I'm lucky and blessed to have a robust social life, family, friends, and I am an extrovert and I get so much energy from being around them. But I just had to balance it a little bit more. And I did realize I had my own thing going on around like fear of saying no. And a lot of times when people talk about this, hi Italy, don't drink my tea. A lot of times when people talk about this, they're like, no is a full sentence. You don't have to say anything else. That really didn't help me because actually I'm not trying to be rude. I'm talking about people that I love dearly who I actually want to spend time with. So for me, that kind of reframe isn't helpful. Like that kind of reframe is very helpful when we're talking about like consent and other type of things. But when you're talking about protecting your creative energy and time, for me, what actually really helped is understanding that it is loving and not rude at all to say like, oh, I would love to, but today I can't because I'm doing this. Let's do blah, blah, blah day. Or I can't actually do that, but if you want to join me from like going to the gym or going for a walk, or if you want to join me for dinner or something, that we could do, like kind of just combining it in with the things that I already had to do, or like, okay, like let's go grocery shopping together. And not always, like I take my sacred time for my friends and my family too, but I really just needed to kind of make some time that was like, I'm going to treat this like it's a job, not a job, but only when it comes to the sense of like, I actually have to say, oh, I can't because I'm doing this. And not let everything always bleed over it. You know, that is something that a lot of creatives struggle with is, sure, people are busy and there's like a lot going on and there's a million different places that your energy could go, but making some of that time sacred is important, and not doing it from a place that's like, you're watching Netflix when you could be doing it. Like, not like that. Not like that at all. Just like, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to make a sacred commitment to this because it's in me for a reason. Like there's a reason I desire to create this. I don't need to know what the reason is to honor that and show up to it. And I feel in my own experience, like a lot of the reason why I wouldn't, or why I would let other things bleed over it, is out of fear. What's going to happen if you fail? What's going to happen if you succeed? What's going to happen if you... that stuff, right? Yeah, it's scary. And that is the next one, number 7, is courage. Like sometimes at the end of the day, you just have to have the courage to do it and to face it. But I think all of these things make that moment of courage easier, because if you are being kind to yourself, if you're taking care of your body and you're taking care of your mind and you're taking care of your heart and your relationships and your time, and you're tending to that, then when it comes time for that moment where the only thing between you and doing it is fear, courage has a lot more room to blossom. And there's a lot less sticky, like icky shit to grab onto to try to pull you back, for your inner critic to grab onto. Like when I first started this podcast, I literally was like, oh my God, it makes me want to throw up and die. Like, I said that so many times. I was so scared of just the visibility of it, of coming on here, of being in front of a camera. And I can say that today I'm pretty comfortable. But how I kind of grew that comfort was by being really gentle on myself. Like, when I was recording, I'd be like, it doesn't matter how many breaks you need to take, you can always edit later, you know? And I would be like genuinely surprised when people in my life and stuff would be like, wow, it was so good, I loved it, I love your stories and all this stuff. But through this and writing the memoir, and I took a personal storytelling class, like oral storytelling class recently, which was awesome. Through these things, I'm starting to really honor my own voice and understand the power of my own voice and the power of my own ability to articulate what I'm thinking and articulate my memories. And that's what I share today. It's just like, follow the impulse, follow the thread of the idea of like, what do you want to do? What gives you that flutter in your stomach when you hear about it? Number 7 is get a mentor / just be open to a mentor coming into your life. And obviously, don't join a cult. Stay skeptical. But definitely all of this for me is very possible because of the coach that I work with, Tanisha, who I had another episode about her if you want to go watch it. But she helped me so much because when I would be like crashing out, she would be like, you're crashing out, before I would realize it. And she would help me. She's just helped me so much in a way that I wouldn't have been able to help myself, of uncovering layer by layer by layer of everything that basically I had taken on from society, and uncovering all of those layers to get to the most authentic version of myself, which I'm still working on, don't get me wrong. But I am so much happier and more in alignment with myself after, having a guide for about a year. And that person could obviously be like a therapist or a spiritual type of mentor. Maybe you have an amazing teacher in your life if you're in school or something, but lean on them for help and like be willing to talk to them if you can trust them. You know, obviously building trust is its own thing. And if you want to check out my business, that's cloudpinkbeauty.com. We make skincare, hair care, vulva care. I washed my hair like 2 days ago, put it in braids and took it out. I don't have any products in it, so you can check it out. Face card, everything you can see. So everything is made by hand and with love and really, really, really basic ingredients and no bullshit ever. So enjoy that. That is cloudpinkbeauty.com. And thank you guys so much for being here with me and with this journey. Really appreciate you. If you stayed till the end, you're the shit. And let me know what you did get out of it. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.